Hey guys, Yulia here with Nerdy NP. I'm filming from my house. My car is way too hot today. So today we'll be talking about digoxin. And so before I start by talking about digoxin, I want to talk about the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So the parasympathetic nervous system is the rest and digest. It's activated by the vagus nerve and it causes decrease in heart rate and blood pressure, versus sympathetic is your fight or flight, and it's regulated by your catecholamines, your norepinephrine, epinephrine, and it causes an increase in heart rate and blood pressure. So to understand digoxin a little bit better, we're going to talk about your cardiac cell. So this is my terrible picture over here. So here you have your cardiac muscle cell, and you have this sodium potassium pump over here. And so what it does is it pumps sodium out and potassium in. So you always have a higher concentration of sodium outside the cell than inside the cell. However, what digoxin does is it actually blocks this pump, so it's not able to pump sodium out, and that's actually a higher concentration of sodium staying inside the cell. And so what happens next is this sodium is actually pumped out via this other cotransporter, sodium-calcium transporter. And for every sodium that's pumped out, you get more calcium pumped in. And as you remember, calcium is responsible for contractility in the cardiac muscle cell. And so the more calcium, the better the contractility. And the better the contractility, the more your heart can squeeze and pump out blood, the higher your cardiac output, and the better your organ perfusion and more oxygenated blood getting to your organs. So improve contractility with digoxin by blocking this sodium potassium pump. Now over here, you have my terrible drawing of your heart. You have your 4 chambers, you have your SA node and your AV node. And so what the digoxin does is it actually potentiates your vagus nerve, and it actually decreases your heart rate and decreases the conduction of impulse through your AV node. And when we have a decrease in heart rate and decreased conduction, what we see is we have lower oxygen demands on the heart, and so this relieves heart failure symptoms, angina, and that is essentially in a nutshell how digoxin affects your heart failure symptoms. So increase contractility, decrease heart rate, improves your cardiac output, but decreases your oxygen demand. So digoxin has a very narrow therapeutic window, which means that it can become toxic to the body very easily. And so ideally, you wouldn't want the levels in the blood to exceed 2 nanograms per milliliter, because that can result in toxicity. And so there are neurological and non-neurological signs of toxicity. So neurological ones include altered mental status, dizziness, headache, fatigue, and also halos around lights. And non-neurological can include nausea and vomiting. So things that can potentiate digoxin toxicity are kidney failure, so end-stage renal disease. You want to be really careful and probably avoid digoxin in those individuals. And additionally, hypokalemia. So if someone has a very low potassium level, it can actually potentiate the toxicity of digoxin. And so you want to make sure and replete those electrolytes before you start the medication. So that was digoxin in a nutshell, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on the next Nerdy NP chat. And if you do like this video and my channel, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate your support. Till next time.